Sahih al-Bukhari Medicine. Sahih al-Bukhari, Medicine narrated Abu Huraira. The Prophet said, "There is no disease that Allah has created, except that He also has created its treatment." Sahih al-Bukhari 5678 Reference 76 Hadith 1. Sahih al-Bukhari, Medicine narrated Rubai bint Mu'ad bin Afra. We used to go for military expeditions along with Allah's Messenger and provide the people with water, serve them and bring the dead and the wounded back to Medina. Sahih al-Bukhari 5679 Reference 76 Hadith 2. Sahih al-Bukhari, Medicine narrated Ibn Abbas Sad Face. The Prophet said, "Healing is in three things: a gulp of honey, cupping, and branding with fire, cauterizing. But I forbid my followers to use cauterization, branding with fire." Sahih al-Bukhari 5680 Reference 76 Hadith 3. Sahih al-Bukhari, Medicine narrated Ibn Abbas. The Prophet said, "Healing is in three things: cupping, a gulp of honey or cauterization, branding with fire. But I forbid my followers to use cauterization, branding with fire." Sahih al-Bukhari 5681 Reference 76 Hadith 4. Sahih al-Bukhari, Medicine narrated Aisha. The Prophet used to like sweet edible things and honey. Sahih al-Bukhari 5682 Reference 76 Hadith 5. Sahih al-Bukhari, Medicine narrated Habir bin Abdullah. I heard the Prophet saying, "If there is any healing in your medicines, then it is in cupping, a gulp of honey or branding with fire, cauterization. That suits the ailment, but I don't like to be cauterized, branded with fire." Sahih al-Bukhari 5683 Reference 76 Hadith 6. Sahih al-Bukhari, Medicine narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. A man came to the Prophet and said, "My brother has some abdominal trouble." The Prophet said to him, "Let him drink honey." The man came for the second time and the Prophet said to him, "Let him drink honey." He came for the third time and the Prophet said, "Let him drink honey." He returned again and said, "I have done that." The Prophet then said, "Allah has said the truth, but your brother's abdomen has told a lie. Let him drink honey." So he made him drink honey and he was cured. Sahih al-Bukhari 5684 Reference 76 Hadith 7. Sahih al-Bukhari, Medicine narrated Anas. Some people were sick and they said, "O Allah's Messenger, give us shelter and food." So when they became healthy they said, "The weather of Medina is not suitable for us." So he sent them to Al-Hara with some she-camels of his and said, "Drink of their milk." But when they became healthy, they killed the shepherd of the Prophet and drove away his camels. The Prophet sent some people in their pursuit. Then he got their hands and feet cut and their eyes were branded with heated pieces of iron. I saw one of them licking the earth with his tongue till he died. Sahih al-Bukhari 5685 Reference 76 Hadith 8. Sahih al-Bukhari, Medicine narrated Anas. The climate of Medina did not suit some people, so the Prophet ordered them to follow his shepherd, that is his camels, and drink their milk and urine, as a medicine. So they followed the shepherd, that is the camels, and drank their milk and urine till their bodies became healthy. Then they killed the shepherd and drove away the camels. When the news reached the Prophet, he sent some people in their pursuit. When they were brought, he cut their hands and feet and their eyes were branded with heated pieces of iron. Sahih al-Bukhari 5686 Reference 76 Hadith 9. Sahih al-Bukhari, Medicine narrated Khalid bin Sa'di. We went out and Ghalib bin Abjar was accompanying us. He fell ill on the way, and when we arrived at Medina he was still sick. Ibn Abi Atiq came to visit him and said to us, "Treat him with black cumin. Take 5 or 7 seeds and crush them. Mix the powder with oil, and drop the resulting mixture into both nostrils." For Aisha has narrated to me that she heard the Prophet saying, "This black cumin is healing for all diseases except as-sam." Aisha said, "What is as-sam?" He said, "Death." Sahih al-Bukhari 5687 reference 76 Hadith 10. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Abu Huraira. I heard Allah's Messenger saying, "There is healing in black cumin for all diseases except death." Sahih al-Bukhari 5688 reference 76 Hadith 11. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Urwa. Aisha used to recommend at-talbina for the sick and for such a person as grieved over a dead person. She used to say, "I heard Allah's Messenger saying, at-talbina gives rest to the heart of the patient and makes it active and relieves some of his sorrow and grief." Sahih al-Bukhari 5689 reference 76 Hadith 12. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Hisham's father. Aisha used to recommend at-talbina and used to say, "It is disliked by the patient, although it is beneficial." Sahih al-Bukhari 5690 reference 76 Hadith 13. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Ibn Abbas. The Prophet was cupped and he paid the wages to the one who had cupped him and then took suit, medicine sniffed by nose. Sahih al-Bukhari 5691 reference 76 Hadith 14. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Qais bint Misan. I heard the Prophet saying, "Treat with the Indian incense, for it has healing for 7 diseases. It is to be sniffed by one having throat trouble, and to be put into one side of the mouth of one suffering from pleurisy." Once I went to Allah's Messenger with a son of mine who would not eat any food, and the boy passed urine on him, whereupon he asked for some water and sprinkled it over the place of urine. Sahih al-Bukhari 5692, 5693 reference 76 Hadith 15. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Ibn Abbas. The Prophet was cupped while he was fasting. Sahih al-Bukhari 5694 reference 76 Hadith 16. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Ibn Abbas. The Prophet was cupped while he was in a state of ihram. Sahih al-Bukhari 5695 reference 76 Hadith 17. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Anas. That he was asked about the wages of the one who cups others. He said, Allah's Messenger was cupped by Abd Ta'iba, to whom he gave 2 saw of food and interceded for him with his masters, who consequently reduced what they used to charge him daily. Then the Prophet said, "The best medicines you may treat yourselves with are cupping and sea incense." He added, "You should not torture your children by treating tonsillitis by pressing the tonsils or the palate with the finger, but use incense." Sahih al-Bukhari 5696 reference 76 Hadith 18. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Habir bin Abdullah. That he paid al-Mukanna a visit during his illness and said, "I will not leave till he gets cupped, for I heard Allah's Messenger saying, there is healing in cupping." Sahih al-Bukhari 5697 reference 76 Hadith 19. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Abdullah bin Bahana. Allah's Messenger was cupped on the middle of his head at Lal Jamal on his way to Mecca while he was in a state of ihram. Narrated Ibn Abbas. Allah's Messenger was cupped on his head. Sahih al-Bukhari 5698, 5699 Reference 76 Hadith 20. Sahih al-Bukhari. Medicine narrated Ibn Abbas. The Prophet was cupped on his head for an ailment he was suffering from while he was in a state of ihram at a water place called Lal Jamal. Ibn Abbas further said, Allah's apostle was cupped on his head for unilateral headache while he was in a state of ihram. Sahih al-Bukhari 5700, 5701 Reference 76 Hadith 21. Sahih al-Bukhari. Medicine narrated Habir bin Abdullah. I heard the Prophet saying, if there is any good in your medicines, then it is in a gulp of honey, a cupping operation, or branding, cauterization. But I do not like to be cauterized, branded. Sahih al-Bukhari 5702 Reference 76 Hadith 22. Sahih al-Bukhari. Medicine narrated Kabi bin Ujra. The Prophet came to me during the period of Al-Hudaybiyah, while I was lighting fire underneath a cooking pot and lice were falling down my head. He said, Do your lice hurt your? I said, Yes. He said, Shave your head and fast for 3 days or feed 6 poor persons or slaughter a sheep as a sacrifice. Sahih al-Bukhari 5703 Reference 76 Hadith 23. Sahih al-Bukhari. Medicine narrated Habir. The Prophet said, if there is any healing in your medicines then it is a cupping operation, or branding, cauterization. But I do not like to be cauterized, branded. Sahih al-Bukhari 5704 Reference 76 Hadith 24. Sahih al-Bukhari. Medicine narrated Ibn Abbas. Allah's Messenger said, Nations were displayed before me. 1 or 2 prophets would pass by along with a few followers. A prophet would pass by accompanied by nobody. Then a big crowd of people passed in front of me and I asked, Who are they? Are they my followers? It was said, Number. It is Moses and his followers. It was said to me, Look at the horizon. Behold, there was a multitude of people filling the horizon. Then it was said to me, Look there and there about the stretching sky. Behold, there was a multitude filling the horizon. It was said to me, This is your nation out of whom 70,000 shall enter paradise without reckoning. Then the Prophet entered his house without telling his companions who they, the 70,000, were. So the people started talking about the issue and said, It is we who have believed in Allah and followed his apostle. Therefore those people are either ourselves or our children who are born in the Islamic era, for we were born in the pre-Islamic. Sahih al-Bukhari 5705 Reference 76 Hadith 25. Sahih al-Bukhari. Medicine period of ignorance. When the Prophet heard of that, he came out and said, Those people are those who do not treat themselves with ruqyah, nor do they believe in bad or good omen from birds, etc. Nor do they get themselves branded, cauterized. But they put their trust only in their Lord. On that Ukasha bin Musan said, Am I one of them, O Allah's Messenger? The Prophet said, Yes. Then another person got up and said, Am I one of them? The Prophet said, Ukasha has anticipated you. Sahih al-Bukhari 5705 Reference 76 Hadith 25. Sahih al-Bukhari. Medicine narrated Salama. The husband of a lady died and her eyes became sore and the people mentioned her story to the Prophet. They asked him whether it was permissible for her to use kohl as her eyes were exposed to danger. He said, Previously, when one of you was bereaved by a husband, she would stay in her dirty clothes in a bad unhealthy house for 1 year. And when a dog passed by, she would throw a globe of dung. No, she should observe the prescribed period Iddah for 4 months and 10 days. Sahih al-Bukhari 5706 Reference 76 Hadith 26. Sahih al-Bukhari. Medicine narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger said, there is no adwa. No contagious disease is conveyed without Allah's permission. Nor is there any bad omen from birds. Nor is there any hama. Nor is there any bad omen in the month of Safar. And one should run away from the leper as one runs away from a lion. Note: the majority of scholars interpret this to mean that these things in and of themselves do not transmit or cause harm through supernatural or hidden means, but that Allah is ultimately in control and any fearful superstition around these is false. Sahih al-Bukhari 5707 reference 76 Hadith 27. Sahih al-Bukhari. Medicine narrated Sa'id bin Zayd. I heard the Prophet saying, truffles are like manna. That is, they grow naturally without man's care, and their water heals eye diseases. Sahih al-Bukhari 5708 reference 76 Hadith 28. Sahih al-Bukhari. Medicine narrated Ibn Abbas and Aisha. Abu Bakr kissed the forehead of the Prophet when he was dead. Aisha added, we put medicine in one side of his mouth, but he started waving us not to insert the medicine into his mouth. We said, he dislikes the medicine as a patient usually does. But when he came to his senses he said, did I not forbid you to put medicine, by force, in the side of my mouth? We said, we thought it was just because a patient usually dislikes medicine. He said, none of those who are in the house but will be forced to take medicine in the side of his mouth while I am watching, except Al-Abbas, for he had not witnessed your deed. Sahih al-Bukhari 5709, 5712 reference 76 Hadith 29. Sahih al-Bukhari. Medicine narrated Qais. I went to Allah's Messenger along with a son of mine whose palate and tonsils I had pressed with my finger as a treatment for a throat and tonsil disease. The Prophet said, why do you pain your children by pressing their throats? Use oud al-Hindi, certain Indian incense, for it cures 7 diseases, one of which is pleurisy. It is used as a snuff for treating throat and tonsil disease, and it is inserted into one side of the mouth of one suffering from pleurisy. Sahih al-Bukhari 5713 reference 76 Hadith 30. Sahih al-Bukhari. Medicine narrated Aisha sad face. The wife of the Prophet. When the health of Allah's Messenger deteriorated and his condition became serious, he asked the permission of all his wives to allow him to be treated in my house, and they allowed him. He came out, supported by 2 men, and his legs were dragging on the ground between Abbas and another man. The sub-narrator told Ibn Abbas, who said, do you know who was the other man whom Aisha did not mention? The sub-narrator said, number. Ibn Abbas said, it was Ali. Aisha added, when the Prophet entered my house and his disease became aggravated, he said, pour on me 7 waterskins full of water, the tying ribbons of which had not been untied, so that I may give some advice to the people. So we made him sit in a tub belonging to Hafsa, the wife of the Prophet, and started pouring water on him from those waterskins till he waved us to stop. Then he went out to the people and led them in prayer and delivered a speech before them. Sahih al-Bukhari 5714 reference 76 Hadith 31. Sahih al-Bukhari. Medicine narrated Qais. That she took to Allah's Messenger one of her sons whose palate and tonsils she had pressed because he had throat trouble. The Prophet said, why do you pain your children by getting the palate pressed like that? Use the oud al-Hindi, certain Indian incense, for it cures 7 diseases, one of which is pleurisy. Sahih al-Bukhari 5715 reference 76 Hadith 32. Sahih al-Bukhari. Medicine narrated Abu Sa'id. A man came to the Prophet and said, my brother has got loose motions. The Prophet said, let him drink honey. The man again came and said, I made him drink honey, but that made him worse. The Prophet said, Allah has said the truth, and the abdomen of your brother has told a lie. See Hadith number 88. Sahih al-Bukhari 5716 reference 76 Hadith 33. Sahih al-Bukhari. Medicine narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger said, there is no adwa. No disease is conveyed from the sick to the healthy without Allah's permission, nor safar, nor hama. A Bedouin stood up and said, then what about my camels? They are like deer on the sand, but when a mangy camel comes and mixes with them, they all get infected with mangy. The Prophet said, then who conveyed the mange disease to the first one? Sahih al-Bukhari 5717 reference 76 Hadith 34. Sahih al-Bukhari. Medicine narrated Umm that she took to Allah's Messenger one of her sons whose palate and tonsils she had pressed to treat a throat trouble. The Prophet said, be afraid of Allah. Why do you pain your children by having their tonsils pressed like that? Use the oud al-Hindi, a certain Indian incense, for it cures 7 diseases, one of which is pleurisy. Sahih al-Bukhari 5718 reference 76 Hadith 35. Sahih al-Bukhari. Medicine narrated Anas bin Malik. Allah's Messenger allowed one of the Ansar families to treat persons who have taken poison and also who are suffering from ear ailment with ruqyah. Anas added, I got myself branded cauterized, for pleurisy, when Allah's Messenger was still alive. Abu Talha, Anas bin Nader and Zayd bin Thabit witnessed that, and it was Abu Talha who branded, cauterized, me. Sahih al-Bukhari 5719, 5720, 5721 reference 76 Hadith 36. Sahih al-Bukhari. Medicine narrated Sahl bin Saud as Sa'idi. When the helmet broke on the head of the Prophet and his face became covered with blood and his incisor tooth broke. That is during the Battle of Uhud. Ali used to bring water in his shield while Fatima was washing the blood off his face. When Fatima saw that the bleeding increased because of the water, she took a mat of palm leaves, burnt it, and stuck it, the burnt ashes, on the wound of Allah's apostle, whereupon the bleeding stopped. Sahih al-Bukhari 5722 reference 76 Hadith 37. Sahih al-Bukhari. Medicine narrated Nazi. Abdullah bin Umar said, the Prophet said, fever is from the heat of hell, so put it out, cool it, with water. Nafi added, Abdullah used to say, O Allah, relieve us from the punishment, when he suffered from fever. Sahih al-Bukhari 5723 reference 76 Hadith 38. Sahih al-Bukhari. Medicine narrated Fatima bint al-Mundir. Whenever a lady suffering from fever was brought to Asma bint Abu Bakr, she used to invoke Allah for her and then sprinkle some water on her body, at the chest and say, Allah's Messenger used to order us to abate fever with water. Sahih al-Bukhari 5724 reference 76 Hadith 39. Sahih al-Bukhari. Medicine narrated Aisha. The Prophet said, fever is from the heat of hell, so abate fever with water. Sahih al-Bukhari 5725 reference 76 Hadith 40. Sahih al-Bukhari. Medicine narrated Rafi bin Khadij. I heard Allah's Messenger saying, fever is from the heat of hell, so abate fever with water. Sahih al-Bukhari 5726 reference 76 Hadith 41. Sahih al-Bukhari. Medicine narrated Anas bin Malik. Some people from the tribes of Ukl and Uraina came to Allah's Messenger and embraced Islam and said, "O Allah's Messenger, we are owners of livestock and have never been farmers," and they found the climate of Medina unsuitable for them. So Allah's Messenger ordered that they be given some camels and a shepherd, and ordered them to go out with those camels and drink their milk and urine. So they set out, but when they reached a place called Al-Hara, they reverted to disbelief after their conversion to Islam, killed the shepherd and drove away the camels. When this news reached the Prophet, he sent in their pursuit, and they were caught and brought. The Prophet ordered that their eyes be branded with heated iron bars and their hands be cut off, and they were left at Al-Hara till they died in that state. Sahih al-Bukhari 5727 reference 76 Hadith 42. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Saud. The Prophet said, "If you hear of an outbreak of plague in a land, do not enter it. But if the plague breaks out in a place while you are in it, do not leave that place." Sahih al-Bukhari 5728 reference 76 Hadith 43. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Abdullah bin Abbas. Umar bin al-Khattab departed for Sham, and when he reached Sarg, the commanders of the Muslim army, Abu Ubaidah bin al-Jarrah and his companions met him and told him that an epidemic had broken out in Sham. Umar said, "Call for me the early emigrants." So Umar called them, consulted them and informed them that an epidemic had broken out in Sham. Those people differed in their opinions. Some of them said, "We have come out for a purpose and we do not think that it is proper to give it up," while others said, to Umar, "You have along with you other people and the companions of Allah's Messenger, so do not advise that we take them to this epidemic." Umar said to them, "Leave me now." Then he said, "Call the Ansar for me." I called them and he consulted them, and they followed the way of the emigrants and differed as they did. He then said to them, "Leave me now," and added, "Call for me the old people of Quraysh who emigrated in the year of the conquest of Mecca." Sahih al-Bukhari 5729 reference 76 Hadith 44. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine called them and they gave a unanimous opinion saying, "We advise that you should return with the people and do not take them to that place of epidemic." So Umar made an announcement, "I will ride back to Medina in the morning, so you should do the same." Abu Ubaidah bin al-Jarrah said to Umar, "Are you running away from what Allah had ordained?" Umar said, "Would that someone else had said such a thing, O Abu Ubaidah." "Yes, we are running from what Allah had ordained to what Allah has ordained. Don't you agree that if you had camels that went down a valley having two places, one green and the other dry, you would graze them on the green one only if Allah had ordained that, and you would graze them on the dry one only if Allah had ordained that?" At that time Abdurrahman bin Auf, who had been absent because of some job, came and said, "I have some knowledge about this. I have heard Allah's Messenger saying, if you hear about it, an outbreak of plague, in a land, do not go to it. But if plague." Sahih al-Bukhari 5729 reference 76 Hadith 44. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine breaks out in a country where you are staying, do not run away from it. Umar thanked Allah and returned to Medina. Sahih al-Bukhari 5729 reference 76 Hadith 44. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Abdullah bin Amir. Umar went to Sham, and when he reached Sarg, he got the news that an epidemic of plague had broken out in Sham. Abdurrahman bin Auf told him that Allah's Messenger said, "If you hear that it, plague, has broken out in a land, do not go to it. But if it breaks out in a land where you are present, do not go out escaping from it." Sahih al-Bukhari 5730 reference 76 Hadith 45. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Abu Hurairah. Allah's Messenger said, neither Messiah, ad-Dajjal, nor plague will enter Medina. Sahih al-Bukhari 5731 reference 76 Hadith 46. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Anas bin Malik. Allah's Messenger said, death from plague is martyrdom for every Muslim. Sahih al-Bukhari 5732 reference 76 Hadith 47. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Abu Huraira. The Prophet said, he, a Muslim, who dies of an abdominal disease is a martyr, and he who dies of plague is a martyr. Sahih al-Bukhari 5733 reference 76 Hadith 48. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Aisha sad face, the wife of the Prophet, that she asked Allah's Messenger about plague, and Allah's Messenger informed her saying, plague was a punishment which Allah used to send on whom He wished, but Allah made it a blessing for the believers. None, among the believers, remains patient in a land in which plague has broken out and considers that nothing will befall him except what Allah has ordained for him, but that Allah will grant him a reward similar to that of a martyr. Sahih al-Bukhari 5734 reference 76 Hadith 49. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Aisha. During the Prophet's fatal illness, he used to recite the Muawwidhat, Surat an-Nas and Surat al-Falaq, and then blow his breath over his body. When his illness was aggravated, I used to recite those two surahs and blow my breath over him and make him rub his body with his own hand for its blessings. Ma'mar asked Az-Zuhri, how did the Prophet use to blow? Az-Zuhri said, he used to blow on his hands and then passed them over his face. Sahih al-Bukhari 5735 reference 76 Hadith 50. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. Some of the companions of the Prophet came across a tribe amongst the tribes of the Arabs, and that tribe did not entertain them. While they were in that state, the chief of that tribe was bitten by a snake, or stung by a scorpion. They said to the companions of the Prophet, have you got any medicine with you or anybody who can treat with ruqyah? The Prophet's companions said, you refuse to entertain us, so we will not treat your chief, unless you pay us for it. So they agreed to pay them a flock of sheep. One of them, the Prophet's companions, started reciting Surat al-Fatiha and gathering his saliva and spitting it, at the snake bite. The patient got cured and his people presented the sheep to them, but they said, we will not take it unless we ask the Prophet, whether it is lawful. When they asked him, he smiled and said, how do you know that Surat al-Fatiha is a ruqyah? Take it, flock of sheep, and assign a share for me. Sahih al-Bukhari 5736 reference 76 Hadith 51. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Ibn Abbas. Some of the companions of the Prophet passed by some people staying at a place where there was water, and one of those people had been stung by a scorpion. A man from those staying near the water came and said to the companions of the Prophet, is there anyone among you who can do ruqyah, as near the water there is a person who has been stung by a scorpion? So one of the Prophet's companions went to him and recited Surat al-Fatiha for a sheep as his fees. The patient got cured and the man brought the sheep to his companions who disliked that and said, you have taken wages for reciting Allah's book. When they arrived at Medina, they said, O Allah's Messenger, this person has taken wages for reciting Allah's book. On that Allah's Messenger said, you are most entitled to take wages for doing a ruqyah with Allah's book. Sahih al-Bukhari 5737 reference 76 Hadith 52. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Aisha. The Prophet ordered me or somebody else to do ruqyah. If there was danger, from an evil eye. Sahih al-Bukhari 5738 reference 76 Hadith 53. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Salama, that the Prophet saw in her house a girl whose face had a black spot. He said, "She is under the effect of an evil eye, so treat her with a ruqyah." Sahih al-Bukhari 5739 reference 76 Hadith 54. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Abu Huraira. The Prophet said, "The effect of an evil eye is a fact." And he prohibited tattooing. Sahih al-Bukhari 5740 reference 76 Hadith 55. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated al-Aswad. I asked Aisha about treating poisonous stings, a snake bite or a scorpion sting, with a ruqyah. She said, the Prophet allowed the treatment of poisonous sting with ruqyah. Sahih al-Bukhari 5741 reference 76 Hadith 56. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Abdul Aziz. Thabit and I went to Anas bin Malik. Thabit said, "O Abu Hamza, I am sick." On that Anas said, "Shall I treat you with the ruqyah of Allah's Messenger?" Thabit said, "Yes." Anas recited, "O Allah, the Lord of the people, the remover of trouble, please cure, heal this patient, for you are the healer. None brings about healing but you, a healing that will leave behind no ailment." Sahih al-Bukhari 5742 reference 76 Hadith 57. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Aisha. The Prophet used to treat some of his wives by passing his right hand over the place of ailment and used to say, "O Allah, the Lord of the people, remove the trouble and heal the patient, for you are the healer. No healing is of any avail but yours, healing that will leave behind no ailment." Sahih al-Bukhari 5743 reference 76 Hadith 58. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Aisha. Allah's Messenger used to treat with a ruqyah saying, "O the Lord of the people, remove the trouble, the cure is in your hands, and there is none except you who can remove it, the disease." Sahih al-Bukhari 5744 reference 76 Hadith 59. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Aisha. The Prophet used to say to the patient, "In the name of Allah, the earth of our land and the saliva of some of us cure our patient." Sahih al-Bukhari 5745 reference 76 Hadith 60. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Aisha. Allah's Messenger used to read in his ruqyah, "In the name of Allah, the earth of our land and the saliva of some of us cure our patient with the permission of our Lord," with a slight shower of saliva, while treating with a ruqyah. Sahih al-Bukhari 5746 reference 76 Hadith 61. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Abu Qatada. I heard the Prophet saying, "A good dream is from Allah, and a bad dream is from Satan. So if any one of you sees, in a dream, something he dislikes, when he gets up he should blow thrice, on his left side, and seek refuge with Allah from its evil, for then it will not harm him." Sahih al-Bukhari 5747 reference 76 Hadith 62. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Aisha. Whenever Allah's Messenger went to bed, he used to recite Surat al-Ikhlas, Surat al-Falaq and Surat an-Nas and then blow on his palms and pass them over his face and those parts of his body that his hands could reach. And when he fell ill, he used to order me to do like that for him. Sahih al-Bukhari 5748 reference 76 Hadith 63. Sahih al-Bukhari. Medicine narrated Abu Sa'id. A group of the companions of Allah's Messenger proceeded on a journey till they dismounted near one of the Arab tribes and requested them to entertain them as their guests, but they, the tribe people, refused to entertain them. Then the chief of that tribe was bitten by a snake, or stung by a scorpion, and he was given all sorts of treatment, but all in vain. Some of them said, "Will you go to the group, those travelers, who have dismounted near you, and see if one of them has something useful?" They came to them and said, "O the group, our leader has been bitten by a snake, or stung by a scorpion, and we have treated him with everything but nothing benefited him. Has any one of you anything useful?" One of them replied, "Yes, by Allah, I know how to treat with a ruqyah. But, by Allah, we wanted you to receive us as your guests but you refused. I will not treat your patient with a ruqyah till you fix for us something as wages." Consequently they agreed to give those travelers. Sahih al-Bukhari 5749 reference 76 Hadith 64. Sahih al-Bukhari. Medicine a flock of sheep. The man went with them, the people of the tribe, and started spitting on the bite, and reciting Surat al-Fatiha till the patient was healed and started walking as if he had not been sick. When the tribe people paid them their wages they had agreed upon, some of them, the Prophet's companions, said, "Distribute the sheep." But the one who treated with the ruqyah said, "Do not do that till we go to Allah's apostle and mention to him what has happened, and see what he will order us." So they came to Allah's Messenger and mentioned the story to him, and he said, "How do you know that Surat al-Fatiha is a ruqyah? You have done the right thing. Divide what you have got, and assign for me a share with you." Sahih al-Bukhari 5749 reference 76 Hadith 64. Sahih al-Bukhari. Medicine narrated Aisha. The Prophet used to treat some of his wives by passing his right hand over the place of ailment and used to say, "O Lord of the people, remove the difficulty and bring about healing as you are the healer. There is no healing but your healing, a healing that will leave no ailment." Sahih al-Bukhari 5750 reference 76 Hadith 65. Sahih al-Bukhari. Medicine narrated Aisha. The Prophet, during his fatal ailment, used to blow on his hands and pass them over his body while reciting the Muawwidhat, Surat an-Nas and Surat al-Falaq. When his disease got aggravated, I used to recite them for him and blow on his hands, and let him pass his hands over his body because of its blessing. Ma'mar asked Ibn Shihab, "How did he use to do naft?" He said, "He used to blow on his hands and then pass them over his face." Sahih al-Bukhari 5751 reference 76 Hadith 66. Sahih al-Bukhari. Medicine narrated Ibn Abbas. The Prophet once came out to us and said, "Some nations were displayed before me. A prophet would pass in front of me with one man, and another with two men, and another with a group of people, and another with nobody with him. Then I saw a great crowd covering the horizon and I wished that they were my followers, but it was said to me, 'This is Moses and his followers.' Then it was said to me, 'Look.' I looked and saw a big gathering with a large number of people covering the horizon. It was said, 'Look this way and that way.' So I saw a big crowd covering the horizon. Then it was said to me, 'These are your followers, and among them there are 70,000 who will enter paradise without being asked about their accounts.' Then the people dispersed and the Prophet did not tell who those 70,000 were. So the companions of the Prophet started talking about that, and some of them said, 'As regards us, we were born in the era of heathenism, but then we believed in Allah and His Apostle.' Sahih al-Bukhari 5752 reference 76 Hadith 67. Sahih al-Bukhari. Medicine We think, however, that these 70,000 are our offspring." That talk reached the Prophet, who said, "These 70,000 are the people who do not draw an evil omen from birds, and do not get treated by branding themselves, and do not treat with ruqya, but put their trust only in their Lord." Then Ukasha bin Musan got up and said, "O Allah's Messenger, am I one of those 70,000? The Prophet said, "Yes." Then another person got up and said, "Am I one of them?" The Prophet said, "Ukasha has anticipated you." Sahih al-Bukhari 5752 reference 76 Hadith 67. Sahih al-Bukhari, Medicine narrated Abdullah bin Umar. Allah's Messenger said, "There is neither adwa, no contagious disease is conveyed to others without Allah's permission, nor tiara, but an evil omen may be in 3: a woman, a house, or an animal." Sahih al-Bukhari 5753 reference 76 Hadith 68. Sahih al-Bukhari, Medicine narrated Abu Huraira. I heard Allah's Messenger saying, "There is no tiara, and the best omen is the fowl." They asked, "What is the fowl?" He said, "A good word that one of you hears, and takes as a good omen." Sahih al-Bukhari 5754 reference 76 Hadith 69. Sahih al-Bukhari, Medicine narrated Abu Huraira. The Prophet said, "There is no tiara and the best omen is the fowl." Somebody said, "What is the fowl, O Allah's Messenger?" He said, "A good word that one of you hears, and takes as a good omen." Sahih al-Bukhari 5755 reference 76 Hadith 70. Sahih al-Bukhari, Medicine narrated Anas. The Prophet said, "No adwa, no contagious disease is conveyed to others without Allah's permission, nor tiara, but I like the good fowl, that is, the good word." Sahih al-Bukhari 5756 reference 76 Hadith 71. Sahih al-Bukhari, Medicine narrated Abu Huraira. The Prophet said, "There is no adwa, nor tiara, nor hama, nor safar." Sahih al-Bukhari 5757 reference 76 Hadith 72. Sahih al-Bukhari, Medicine narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger gave his verdict about 2 ladies of the Hudhail tribe who had fought each other, and one of them had hit the other with a stone. The stone hit her abdomen, and as she was pregnant, the blow killed the child in her womb. They both filed their case with the Prophet, and he judged that the blood money for what was in her womb was a slave or a female slave. The guardian of the lady who was fined said, "O Allah's Messenger, shall I be fined for a creature that has neither drunk nor eaten, neither spoke nor cried? A case like that should be nullified." On that the Prophet said, "This is one of the brothers of soothsayers." Sahih al-Bukhari 5758 reference 76 Hadith 73. Sahih al-Bukhari, Medicine narrated Abu Huraira. 2 ladies had a fight, and one of them hit the other with a stone on the abdomen and caused her to abort. The Prophet judged that the victim be given either a slave or a female slave, as blood money. Narrated Ibn Shihab. Sa'id bin al-Musayyab said, Allah's Messenger judged that in case of child killed in the womb of its mother, the offender should give the mother a slave or a female slave in recompense. The offender said, "How can I be fined for killing one who neither ate nor drank, neither spoke nor cried?" A case like that should be denied, on that Allah's Messenger said he is one of the brothers of the foretellers. Sahih al-Bukhari 5759. 5760 reference 76 Hadith 74. Sahih al-Bukhari, Medicine narrated Abu Mas'ud. The Prophet forbade the utilization of the price of a dog, the earnings of prostitute, and the earnings of a foreteller. Sahih al-Bukhari 5761 reference 76 Hadith 75. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Aisha. Some people asked Allah's Messenger about the foretellers. He said, "They are nothing," they said, "O Allah's Messenger. Sometimes they tell us of a thing which turns out to be true." Allah's Messenger said, "A jinn snatches that true word and pours it into the ear of his friend, the foreteller, as one puts something into a bottle. The foreteller then mixes with that word 100 lies." Sahih al-Bukhari 5762 reference 76 Hadith 76. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Aisha. A man called Labid bin al-Asam from the tribe of Bani Zariq worked magic on Allah's Messenger till Allah's Messenger started imagining that he had done a thing that he had not really done. One day or one night he was with us. He invoked Allah and invoked for a long period, and then said, "O Aisha, do you know that Allah has instructed me concerning the matter I have asked him about? Two men came to me and one of them sat near my head and the other near my feet. One of them said to his companion, 'What is the disease of this man?' The other replied, 'He is under the effect of magic.' The first one asked, 'Who has worked the magic on him?' The other replied, 'Labid bin al-Asam.' The first one asked, 'What material did he use?' The other replied, 'A comb and the hairs stuck to it and the skin of pollen of a male date palm.' The first one asked, 'Where is that?' The other replied, 'That is, in the well of Darwin.' So Allah's Messenger along with some of his companions went there and came. Sahih al-Bukhari 5763 reference 76 Hadith 77. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine back saying, "O Aisha, the color of its water is like the infusion of henna leaves. The tops of the date palm trees near it are like the heads of the devils." I asked, "O Allah's Messenger, why did you not show it to the people?" He said, "Since Allah cured me, I disliked to let evil spread among the people." Then he ordered that the well be filled up with earth. Sahih al-Bukhari 5763 reference 76 Hadith 77. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger said, "Avoid the mubikat, that is, shirk and witchcraft." Sahih al-Bukhari 5764 reference 76 Hadith 78. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Aisha. Magic was worked on Allah's Messenger so that he used to think that he had sexual relations with his wives while he actually had not. Sufyan said, "That is the hardest kind of magic as it has such an effect." Then one day he said, "O Aisha, do you know that Allah has instructed me concerning the matter I asked him about? Two men came to me and one of them sat near my head and the other sat near my feet. The one near my head asked the other, 'What is wrong with this man?' The latter replied, 'He is under the effect of magic.' The first one asked, 'Who has worked magic on him?' The other replied, 'Labid bin al-Asam, a man from Bani Zariq who was an ally of the Jews and was a hypocrite.' The first one asked, 'What material did he use?' The other replied, 'A comb and the hair stuck to it.' The first one asked, 'Where is that?' The other replied, 'In a skin of pollen of a male date palm tree kept under a stone in the well of Darwin.' So the Prophet went to that well and took out those things. Sahih al-Bukhari 5765 reference 76 Hadith 79. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine and said, "That was the well which was shown to me, in a dream. Its water looked like the infusion of henna leaves and its date palm trees looked like the heads of devils." The Prophet added, "Then that thing was taken out." I said to the Prophet, "Why do you not treat yourself with nashra?" He said, "Allah has cured me. I dislike to let evil spread among my people." Sahih al-Bukhari 5765 reference 76 Hadith 79. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Aisha. Magic was worked on Allah's messenger so that he began to imagine that he had done something although he had not. One day while he was with me, he invoked Allah and invoked for a long period and then said, "O Aisha, do you know that Allah has instructed me regarding the matter I asked him about?" I asked, "What is that, O Allah's messenger?" He said, "Two men came to me. One of them sat near my head and the other sat near my feet. One of them asked his companion, 'What is the disease of this man?' The other replied, 'He is under the effect of magic.' The first one asked, 'Who has worked magic on him?' The other replied, 'Labid bin Asam, a Jew from the tribe of Bani Zuraiq.' The first one asked, 'With what has it been done?' The other replied, 'With a comb and the hair stuck to it and a skin of the pollen of a male date palm tree.' The first one asked, 'Where is it?' The other replied, 'In the well of Darwin.' Then the Prophet went along with some of his companions to that well and looked. Sahih al-Bukhari 5766 reference 76 Hadith 80. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine at that and there were date palms near to it. Then he returned to me and said, 'By Allah, the water of that well was red, like the infusion of henna leaves, and its date palms were like the heads of devils.' I said, 'O Allah's messenger, did you take those materials out of the pollen skin?' He said, 'No. As for me, Allah has healed me and cured me, and I was afraid that, by showing that to the people, I would spread evil among them when he ordered that the well be filled up with earth, and it was filled up with earth.' Sahih al-Bukhari 5766 reference 76 Hadith 80. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Abdullah bin Umar. Two men came from the east and addressed the people who wondered at their eloquent speeches on that Allah's messenger said, 'Some eloquent speech is as effective as magic.' Sahih al-Bukhari 5767 reference 76 Hadith 81. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Saud. The Prophet said, 'If somebody takes some ajwa dates every morning, he will not be affected by poison or magic on that day till night.' Another narrator said 7 dates. Sahih al-Bukhari 5768 reference 76 Hadith 82. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Saud. I heard Allah's messenger saying, 'If somebody takes 7 ajwa dates in the morning, neither magic nor poison will hurt him that day.' Sahih al-Bukhari 5769 reference 76 Hadith 83. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Abu Huraira. The Prophet said, 'No adwa, that is no contagious disease, is conveyed to others without Allah's permission, nor any evil omen in the month of Safar.' Nor Hama a Bedouin said, 'O Allah's messenger, what about the camels which, when on the sand, desert, look like deers, but when a mangy camel mixes with them they all get infected with mange?' On that Allah's apostle said, 'Then who conveyed the mange disease to the first mangy camel?' Sahih al-Bukhari 5770 reference 76 Hadith 84. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's messenger said, 'The cattle, sheep, cows, camels, etc., suffering from a disease should not be mixed up with healthy cattle, or said, do not put a patient with a healthy person. As a precaution.' Sahih al-Bukhari 5771 reference 76 Hadith 85. Sahih al-Bukhari, medicine narrated Abdullah bin Umar. Allah's messenger said, 'There is neither adwa nor tiara, and an evil omen is only in 3, a horse, a woman and a house.' Sahih al-Bukhari 5772 Reference 76 Hadith 86. Sahih al-Bukhari, Medicine narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger said, no adwa. Abu Huraira also said, the Prophet said, the cattle suffering from a disease should not be mixed up with healthy cattle. Or said, do not put a patient with a healthy person as a precaution. Abu Huraira also said, Allah's Messenger said, no adwa. A Bedouin got up and said, don't you see how camels on the sand look like deer, but when a mangy camel mixes with them, they all get infected with mange? On that the Prophet said, then who conveyed the mange disease to the first camel? Sahih al-Bukhari 5773, 5775 Reference 76 Hadith 87. Sahih al-Bukhari, Medicine narrated Anas bin Malik. The Prophet said, no adwa nor tiara, but I like fowl. They said, what is the fowl? He said, a good word. Sahih al-Bukhari 5776 Reference 76 Hadith 88. Sahih al-Bukhari, Medicine narrated Abu Huraira. When Khaybar was conquered, Allah's Messenger was presented with a poisoned, roasted sheep. Allah's Apostle said, collect for me all the Jews present in this area. When they were gathered, Allah's Apostle said to them, I am going to ask you about something. Will you tell me the truth? They replied, yes, O Abul Qasim. Allah's Messenger said to them, who is your father? They said, our father is so and so. Allah's Messenger said, you have told a lie. For your father is so and so. They said, no doubt, you have said the truth and done the correct thing. He again said to them, if I ask you about something, will you tell me the truth? They replied, yes, O Abul Qasim. And if we should tell a lie, you will know it as you have known it regarding our father. Allah's Messenger then asked, who are the people of the hell fire? They replied, we will remain in the hell fire for a while, and then you, Muslims, will replace us in it. Allah's Messenger said to them, you will abide. Sahih al-Bukhari 5777 Reference 76 Hadith 89. Sahih al-Bukhari, Medicine in it with ignominy. By Allah, we shall never replace you in it at all. Then he asked them again, if I ask you something, will you tell me the truth? They replied, yes. He asked, have you put the poison in this roasted sheep? They replied, yes. He asked, what made you do that? They replied, we intended to learn if you were a liar, in which case we would be relieved from you, and if you were a prophet, then it would not harm you. Sahih al-Bukhari 5777 Reference 76 Hadith 89. Sahih al-Bukhari, Medicine narrated Abu Huraira. The Prophet said, whoever purposely throws himself from a mountain and kills himself, will be in the hell fire, falling down into it and abiding therein perpetually forever. And whoever drinks poison and kills himself with it, he will be carrying his poison in his hand and drinking it in the hell fire, wherein he will abide eternally forever. And whoever kills himself with an iron weapon, will be carrying that weapon in his hand and stabbing his abdomen with it in the hell fire, wherein he will abide eternally forever. Sahih al-Bukhari 5778 Reference 76 Hadith 90. Sahih al-Bukhari, Medicine narrated Sa'di. I heard Allah's Messenger saying, whoever takes 7 ajwa dates in the morning will not be affected by magic or poison on that day. Sahih al-Bukhari 5779 Reference 76 Hadith 91. Sahih al-Bukhari, Medicine narrated Abu Dalaba al-Kushani. The Prophet forbade the eating of wild animals having fangs. As Zuhri said, I did not hear this narration except when I went to Sham. Al-Layth said, narrated Yunus, I asked Ibn Shihab, may we perform the ablution with the milk of she-asses or drink it, or drink the bile of wild animals or urine of camels? He replied, the Muslims used to treat themselves with that and did not see any harm in it. As for the milk of she-asses, we have learnt that Allah's Messenger forbade the eating of their meat, but we have not received any information whether drinking of their milk is allowed or forbidden. As for the bile of wild animals, Ibn Shihab said, Abu Idris al-Khawlani told me that Allah's Messenger forbade the eating of the flesh of every wild beast having fangs. Sahih al-Bukhari 5780, 5781 Reference 76 Hadith 92. Sahih al-Bukhari, Medicine narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger said, if a fly falls in the vessel of any of you, let him dip all of it into the vessel, and then throw it away, for in one of its wings there is a disease and in the other there is healing, antidote for it, i.e., the treatment for that disease. Sahih al-Bukhari 5782 Reference 76 Hadith 93.